Live? Yeah, I actually wait for the video preview to start working before I decide I am actually live. And last time we finished off with this, we had actually gotten up to the decision that is immediately here. And in the I believe we have done everything correct. I should have done a actual check, but if I fucked up, we will know pretty soon. My choice is door 1. Santa was unconvinced. Hey, wait a minute there. You cheating? Cheating? I'm asking if you changed your number after you heard what doors we wanted. How could I do that? I wrote it down on the paper earlier. Let me see that. Junpei shrugged and handed it to him. Santa examined it furiously. The others peered at it as well. As they did, Junpei quickly slipped the piece of paper he'd been hiding into his pocket. Although he'd never know it now, Santa had been justified in his suspicions. Junpei had switched papers. He'd prepared 3 pieces of paper for doors 1, 2, and 6 and put the paper with door 6 on it into the pot. Put a small mark on it so he would know which one was his. Put the paper that said door 1 in his left hand, paper that read door 2 in his right. When the drawing began, he saw to it that he drew last. The rest was easy. If he wanted to go into door 1, he'd use his left hand, and his right hand if he wanted door 2. Of course, if he wanted door 6, that would be simple. All he needed to do was switch nothing and say 6 had been what he wanted all along. Well, what does it say? He fought the urge to smirk. You got lucky. Santa snorted and tossed the paper aside, frustrated. Very well, we've decided who will go through door 1. It will be Clover, Junpei, and myself. Does that? Yeah, that works. Our only problem is the 2 remaining teams. June and I went door 6. Lotus and I went door 2. That's not good. We can't open either of those doors with only 2 people. Fine. 7, we'll go through door 6. Sure thing. I didn't really want to go through door 2 anyway. Besides, if we've got a younger girl with us, it'll lower the average age. Right, June? Well, June was at a loss for words. Lotus was not. That pig. You just wait and see. Her eyes were the eyes of a woman prepared to kill. A shiver ran down Junpei's spine. Even after they separated at the staircase, Lotus was still muttering angrily to herself. Circumstances dictated that Junpei and June would have to part ways again, but this time it didn't sting quite so much. After all, he knew he would see her again. Till we find that 9 door, 0 ain't gonna split us up. We might get separated for a little while, but we'll see each other again. Otherwise, we can't open door 9. That's how the nonary game works. Took a sip and accidentally got some ice on my mouth. Junpei, Ace, and Clover headed toward A deck. They took out the Earth key and opened the door to the left. It opened and they walked through. It was just as Santa and Lotus had said. At the end of the hallway sat a door with a large red 1 upon it, a numbered door. To the left of it, bolted to the wall, was the red. Ace went first and waved his wrist over the scanner panel. Junpei was next. Finally, listlessly, Clover lifted her arm. She leaned towards the scanner panel. The third asterisk clicked to life, shining brightly. Ace took hold of the lever. He took a deep breath and turned to Junpei and Clover. Are you ready? Shall I pull it? Yeah, anytime. Clover said nothing. She nodded, little more than a lethargic twitch of the head. Very well then. Let's go. 3, 2, 1. The door opened. They stumbled into the room. Frantically, Junpei scanned the room. His eyes stopped on the device that would determine whether they lived or died. There it is, over there. Next to the door they'd come through was the dead. As one, they ran to it. They put their hands over it as if they were fighting for it. It stopped. Yes, it did. Junpei could feel his heart pounding against the inside of his ribs. Ace and Clover were breathing hard and fast. The third time they'd been through the process, but they had yet to grow accustomed to it. Not that Junpei wanted to. He planned to finish the game before he got a chance to let imminent death become commonplace. Junpei looked around again, this time more slowly. There was another door, different from the one they'd entered through. He took hold of the knob and easily, gently pulled it open. So this is the wheelhouse? He closed the door again and turned to Ace and Clover. He fixed each in turn with a meaningful stare and spoke. Ace, you investigate the wheelhouse next door. Very well. Clover, you're in charge of this room. Say something. Okay, I will. Alright then. Let's get started. Seek a way out. And I don't remember the puzzle here, so. Not that there's really that many ways to short circuit most of these. Yeah, I'm trying to close the damn door. I want to see if there's anything... Oh. I guess there's only one drawer that works. Let's say door. A chair. A chair. Clover isn't talking much. Well, I guess that's understandable. I mean, she's been through a lot. Really, it's more surprising that she's still together enough to talk at all. A light. It looks kinda like a wilted flower. Ow? Okay, so the entire thing is set up the same. We've got, looks like pins on a world map. It is a, what tends to be done as, or considered to be a, and I never understood this one, a Eurocentric map. And that is, of course, because Europe is as centered in the map as possible. But I mean, it's also what at least the vast majority of the Western world is used to seeing. Western in this case being both American and vast majority of Europe. What do these red pins mean? Well, the nautical charts I picked up earlier have a map like this one. Maybe one of them matches up to the pins or something. Let's see. Well, what do you know? Looks like this one's a match to the pins. Okay, so we've got 7 locations connected by straight lines. Each one has a word next to it. That's probably the speed. New material added to the file screen. Oh, so I never even bothered looking at those maps. And we have a pocket watch. A voice he hadn't expected startled Junpei from his examination of the pocket watch. Ooh, a pocket watch. Might I take a look at it? He spun around to find Ace standing in the doorway. Junpei shrugged and handed him the pocket watch. Hey man, what are you doing over in this room? Oh, I just thought I'd come check up on the two of you. Is there a problem? Well, not a problem, but Junpei looked desperately around the room, anywhere but at Ace, trying to find a convincing reason to dismiss him. Ace opened his mouth, then took another look at Junpei and shut it again. A small smirk appeared on his face. Oh, I see, of course. He looked Junpei over, then glanced at Clover. I apologize for the intrusion. Well, best of luck. Ace gave Junpei a knowing pat on the shoulder and left. So, Ace, perhaps incorrectly, surmises that Junpei is doing something with Clover. Or trying to do something with Clover. Either of which are completely and totally inappropriate. For no reason he could fathom, Junpei's head began to hurt. Sharp, piercing pain. A sharp pain in his head. How much time passed? He wasn't sure. But he did notice when Ace strode through the door. His smile was more of a smirk, and he had the air of a man who knew more than his opponent. Ah yes, there was something I wanted to check, if you don't mind. Yeah, what's that? Pardon me. With no warning, Ace slipped his hand into the pocket of Junpei's vest. Hey, what the hell are you doing? He reached for Ace's arm. It was already too late. In the older man's hand were the pieces of paper Junpei had balled up and hidden in his pocket. Just as I thought. You switched them, didn't you? When we voted. Ah, well, I can't say that I care. I managed to get through the numbered door I wanted despite your mischief. Why did you... Oh, simply curiosity. I hope you won't think ill of me for it. Ace smiled, gave Junpei a friendly pat on the shoulder, and then turned on his heel and left. It was a small defeat, but it was a defeat. Junpei had lost the upper hand, and he knew it. He could feel his stomach begin to tense. So, I wanted to check out and see if there was anything on the pocket watch. That's a pocket watch. She sure hasn't been saying much, and she just keeps looking at the floor. She seems kind of sad. I wonder why. It's a wooden box. Maybe a case for letters? Hey Clover, you ever write letters? Nothing. The shelves are lined with books. Let's see what's in this blue one. There's something written on it. Ship's log. Huh. Ship's log, huh? New material's been added to the file screen. Shelves are lined with books. Looks like they all have something to do with sailing. None of these look very useful. Junpei, are you trying to open that door? Forget it. It's pointless. I tried it earlier. It won't open. Well, in that case, I think we have done everything we can in there. This isn't good. So many drawers, but nothing inside of them. A compass. It appears to be broken, however. You see, this glass cover has been smashed to pieces. That would actually be something that would be useful to check out. There's another room on the other side of the window. The helm. Well, steering wheel might be a more appropriate term. Well, that is a very, very obvious pocket compass door. Pocket watch door. I don't think I have that many other things I can check out. Okay, so, the compass. And what destiny does it point us to? I really hope you don't think that sounded cool. And then Ace gets all sad. Yes, I suppose you could call it a helm. Steering wheel might be more accurate, however. Okay, so, time for the compass door. I will never say the right goddamn term. Looks like this is some sort of lock. It's got a weird shaped indentation to it. Huh? The shape. Maybe. It does look like the pocket watch that I keep calling something other than a pocket watch would fit here. Nothing. I imagine the pocket watch is intended to go in there, However, we may need to do something with the watch first. Mechanical pocket watch with a spring, it doesn't appear to be working. The hands have stopped at 5 minutes, 39 seconds past 10 o'clock. Turning the knob does nothing. Yeah, it's probably broken. Looks as though you could move the hands, however. Broken pocket watch. I can only move the hands manually. The knob doesn't work. Which is, you know, it's kind of weird because it seems like it's trying to give the impression of the glass still being present. So, what the hell is the puzzle here? I think it's related to this map. Alright, I've got the nautical chart that matches up to these pins. I don't think I need to spend any more time with this map. Well, let's check out the desk. This is a pretty empty desk. My brother's desk looked a lot like this. Because he couldn't see, and he never put stuff on it that he didn't need. Damn, that's... What am I supposed to say to that? Poor kid? And there doesn't appear to be anything in the drawers. Right drawer, let's have a look. Nothing. Doesn't look like there's anything useful on the desk. Left drawer, let's have a look. Again, nothing. Wonder if there's anything on the seat. Chair. Clover isn't very talkative. She looks kind of out of it. Is she thinking about Snake? A desk. Anything in the drawers? Nope. This thing won't budge. Feels like there's something keeping it in place. What would be the point of moving it? The ship has stopped. What would be the use of steering it? Yeah, no, still. A well-polished steering wheel. Looks like it still moves. There's a metal plate bolted over the window. Compass. Needle is pointing north. Wooden board with a circular hole in it. The room is just like the other one. Metal plates bolted over the windows. Heck, not just bolted, it looks like they've been welded on. No way in hell are we going to get those off anytime soon. An engine order telegraph. They use this on old ships to adjust the speed of the ship. Like the gear shift in a car? Well, it's a little different. This device doesn't connect directly to the engine. In short, it's a transmitter. The navigation officer uses it to set the speed of the ship, and it sends a signal to the engine. There's a handle on top of it, which can be moved back and forth to... Hold on. Huh? There's no handle. You're right, there isn't. Looks as though it was deliberately removed. Okay, well, let's check out the other one. Ah, a human hammer. They're often used to subdue large men like Seven. What? That was a joke, of course. Thank you, Captain Obvious. Ace. You really kind of suck at making jokes. Ah, Ace is relatable. That was rather cruel. And the problem, of course, here is I don't remember what the fuck we have to do. I know I'm supposed to put the pocket watch in this hole, but... If this will open, no dice, must be locked. And that is what the big old thing in the center says. What is this, some kind of display? Looks a little like an electronic scoreboard. I imagine it was added recently. Yeah, probably. And now we get to do the adventure game bullshit. Ah, looks like the steering wheel moves. It would seem. Notice something else as well. What's that? Well, when you move this wheel, the compass also moves. What do you mean? The ship. It's moving. Tricked you, didn't I? The wheel and the compass must be connected to one another somehow. Because it's a puzzle. Do you think that's important? Well, let's try turning it again. I'm just gonna let it keep spinning. And as you can see, it doesn't actually just let you stop at any arbitrary point. I think now we can return to the map. Although we still need that, handle. Map the world with the Atlantic Ocean in the middle. Desk. There's nothing in the drawers. I wonder... Just like the one on the left. It's broken though. Can't really use something that's broken. Engine order telegraph. The handle's been taken off. If we can find a replacement handle, I could probably get it to move. What do those damn planks do? And we can see that the room through the other side of the window is just this one. We can see that little red beam when we hit left. An arrival board like at an airport. There's nothing on it right now though. Making me think I need to come back here and check additional things. The light. Well, I guess she doesn't really feel like talking. She's not really paying attention to anything, is she? Her mind must be somewhere else. Yeah, this doesn't strike me as being particularly useful. I keep trying to click the upper window. I think what I need to do is go back and fuck around with the wheel some more. Steering wheel, if we move it, the direction changes. I swear I saw something that had directions on it. Maybe if I entered the directions in that order. Yeah, but... Yeah, there must be a clue here somewhere that will help us solve this. Have you found anything? Perhaps something with the points of the compass on it. Well, actually... there is... Well, there's two things. But I don't think the watch is actually helpful here. But we couldn't get any additional info from the map. So... trying to remember this real quick. I mean, I kinda remember the solution, but... Where the fuck do I, There we go. Oh, southwest, southwest, northwest, east, north. I'm just a moron. Damn it. Ah, I turned the wrong direction here. That's fine. I don't think it actually matters. I think it's actually just the end results that matter. What the? The handle came off. Eh. Stooping so low, are you, Zero? And I believe that handle ends up getting combined with the telegraph. Oh, I sure hope this handle fits. Yes, it fits. Excellent. That should allow us to operate the engine order telegraph. Let's give it a shot. And we don't actually have the options for reverse. We actually still need the... I'm pretty sure it's the same set of solutions. There's something on the wall that looks kind of like an arrival board. There's only stuff displayed on the left side. What the hell is this? The name of the ports in the world. I imagine it's showing us the ship's route. You know, just like the ones you might see at an airport. Departing XX carrier flight at whatever time. Like that. Oh, I get it. It does look like those are the names of all the ports along the ship's route. But there's only one line that shows arrival time. Ah, the time at the bottom. 47 seconds and 25 minutes past 7 o'clock. Perhaps that's the arrival time. But we need to actually get this right. And I keep going to the wrong thing. So, full, half, slow, full, half, dead, stop. Alright, let's give this another shot. Full, half, slow, full, half, dead slow, stop. Fortunately, it's a repeating pattern. Huh, that's weird. I thought I put in the right speed. Did I mess up? No, I don't think so. Same thing happened earlier, remember? There's been a change to the arrival board. Yeah, you're right. Let's check it out. The display's changed. Now it's showing an estimated time of arrival of 10 seconds past 3 o'clock. That time... Broken pocket watch, I can only move the hands manually. The knob doesn't work. Junpei, take a look. The display panel looks different. Yeah, you're right. Only the left half is on though. The last line says the estimated arrival at the final destination is 10 seconds past 3 o'clock. Wonder why they have seconds in there. Seems a little too specific. There's gotta be a reason for that. Oh, perhaps. Whoa, what's he doing? Excuse me, Junpei. Hey, he took my pocket watch. Hey, what the hell are you doing? Just trust me. It should be fine now. Well, thanks for giving me the pocket watch back, but you don't need to look so smug about it. Let's see what he... Oh, he moved the hands. 10 seconds past 3 o'clock. Oh, so you changed it to match the final arrival time. Ace nodded slowly. You know what to do next, right? Give it a shot. Yeah, I need to stop clicking on the upper screen, because I can't click on the upper screen. Looks like this is some sort of lock. It's got a weird shaped indentation on it. Actually, it's shaped just like this pocket watch I've got. Let's try putting it in there. Yes, it says open now. Open! Good work. It seems you were successful. Well done, Junpei. Hey, Clover. What? Look, we unlocked the door. Now we can get out of this room. Oh. Well, let's go then. Clover. The space they found themselves in outside of the wheelhouse was far too narrow to be called a hallway. On their left was a wooden door. Junpei pushed it open and stepped into the room beyond. It was full of all manner of turn-of-the-century electronic equipment. Most of them were things they'd never seen before. They had no idea what they might have been for, let alone how to operate them. One smaller machine had a metal bar that ended in a circular handle. Ace seemed to recognize it. Ah yes, a telegraph key. These were used to transmit Morse code a long time ago. He turned and slowly took in the room. This must be the communication office. Across the room from the door they'd entered through was another door. A metal plaque was nailed to it. It read, Captain's Quarters. The Captain's Quarters, that's what it says. Then do you think... I am Zero, the captain of this ship. Ace swallowed. Junpei could feel his hands begin to sweat. Only Clover seemed unaffected. Well, we won't know if we don't open it. She walked up to the door and put her hand on the knob. It opened easily, and without so much as a pause, she walked in. Junpei and Ace followed. The first thing they saw was a man on the floor, covered in blood. Also, it's things like this that really make me think that I should, play the Steam, buy and play the Steam version. Because I can't tell what the hell is going on with Clover's art there. It looks like she's covering her mouth. Junpei felt his body seize up. His mouth went dry, and he felt very, very cold. The blood in his veins slowed to a crawl, and his heart tightened like a fist. This was the third time he'd seen the horror of death laid out before him. He didn't think it was something he could stand to see much more of. Also, I'd like to note, I very nearly misread that as his heart tightened like a fish. I'm real good at reading, that's why I took a second glance. Still, he had begun to accept that whatever it was that he saw, whatever happened to him, was beyond his control, and whatever force controlled him was driven by a determination that he could not hope to match. I don't know, Junpei, I'm just pushing buttons. A sense of helplessness, of desperation, watched over him, left behind a feeling of utter emptiness that wormed its way through his body, like acid. Then he realized they had yet to check the man's pulse. There's blood everywhere. Perhaps he was still alive. Fueled by that spark of hope, Junpei ran to the man's body, and his heart fell. His fingers on the man's neck felt no pulse. His pupils had dilated, and he wasn't breathing. Junpei lifted the man's already stiff body. There was a deep red wound on his chest. Junpei did not have to wonder long at what could have made such a wound. For lying next to the corpse was an axe. The entire blade of it was drenched in bright red blood. From the shape of the man's wound, there could be no doubt that it had been made by the axe. Junpei looked at the body again. A lake of blood stretched out around it. It was wearing the clothes of a ship's captain, although they were stained with blood. Captain. Did that mean that this man was Zero? On his left hand was a bracelet. The number on the bracelet was 0. It was only then that Junpei noticed the stench of blood that filled the room. He couldn't help but laugh. There was nothing else for him to say. It was too simple, too obvious, too straightforward. If there hadn't been a dead man on the floor, Junpei might have thought it was a joke. So, we'll soon find out if I fucked up at any point along the way. Music box, huh? Can we get that playing? Oh, it's one of those old music boxes. How about we wind it up? Why does it sound like that? Is it broken? The pins on the cylinder are shaped all weird. I don't think those are the pins. It looks like someone put something else on top of it. I think we're gonna have to take it apart to figure out what's going on, don't you? Yeah, I guess we need a screwdriver. Music box. The pins on the cylinder look odd. We'll have to take it apart if we want to get a good look at it. Okay. It's a lamp, but it doesn't turn on. I don't think there's anything special about it. A bed. There's nothing in it. So, seeing another dead body seems to have gotten Clover into a better mood. There's blood on the chair. You think this was the dead guy's? Yeah, probably. A camcorder. Looks like it's pointed at the door. Well, the power's on. Why would someone want to videotape a door? There's a plaque on the door, but it doesn't say anything. Let's see if shaking you gets us anywhere. No dice. I think this probably used to be a door. Nobody's going through it as long as this metal plate's here, though, and the desk is in front of it, and... But even without the metal plate, the desk's in the way. And we've got some, video broadcast monitors, BVMs, PVMs. Screen shows the big hospital room. There's a bunch of weird buttons on here. They probably switch what you see on the screens. You know how to work this thing? Why don't we just press one of these? Like this one. Well, I guess it does change the... Well, what the hell is this? Well, now it says 0. Junpei snorted with grim humor for the second time since he'd come into the room. The 4 screens along the bottom had a single letter each, spelling out 0. Junpei felt as though he was being mocked. The real villain was somewhere, laughing at him. What do you think? He turned to Clover, who was standing next to him. Her voice was almost too low to hear. Nothing. It seemed that she cared about little. Of course, Junpei could hardly blame her, given the strain she was surely under. Junpei was somewhat surprised she had responded at all. Still, he had to ask. He gestured towards the corpse. What about him? Do you think that's really 0? Clover shook her head weakly. There's no way that's him. Didn't I tell you already? 0's one of us. Yeah, right. I know it's important to figure out who this guy is, but don't you think we should figure out how to get out of here first? But please, I don't want to waste any more time. Clover looked miserable, as if she could start crying at any moment. Junpei just didn't have the heart to tell her no. Alright, sure thing. Was his mind playing tricks on him, Junpei wondered? For a moment, he could have sworn he'd seen Clover smile. Maybe she recognizes the guy. An old telegraph machine. I'll be honest, I have no idea how it works. Hey, small screwdrivers. Alright, the screwdriver ought to make short work of this music box. That's actually not the button I intended to hit. looks to be a cylinder for a music box. There are a number of pins and some pieces of metal that rather look like fans attached to it. And I will be right back. I have a bad habit, even with this game, where I know I'm going to be talking a lot, of not actually remembering to have a sufficient amount of drinks. A pair of headphones? I can't hear anything. Guess whatever they're connected to doesn't work anymore. Also, this game has a lot of extraneous single lines. Telegraph key, a machine for transmitting Morse code. I tried sending an SOS signal earlier, but I doubt that did anything. Zero would never make it that easy. Do you think it's broken? No, it works. I'm just not sure if it actually transmits anything outside of the ship. Hey Ace, look. It's a model of a steam train. How on earth did you arrive at that conclusion? Hey Ace, look. It's a monkey with... Okay, I could kind of see the steam train thing. I ain't seeing the monkey. Junpei, what are you doing? We searched the wheelhouse top to bottom. There's no reason to go back. In fact, don't you think it would be wise to investigate the captain's quarters? I think we ought to check both rooms, don't you? Look, a hook. That wasn't a joke. I know, man. Honestly, Ace's comments have been better than yours, Junpei. This is a really long cable. The tip is hooked onto one of the desk's drawers. Looks as though that drawer is the only thing that's locked. I don't see a keyhole though. Electric lock rather, perhaps? Take a look at the left side of the drawer. Yeah, there's some cables over there. That must mean we ripped the cables out. Okay, so there's a piece of paper. Hey, what is this? It's blank. There's nothing written on it. That's not entirely true. Well, there might be nothing written on it, but a white piece of paper, it's blank. Actually, yeah, it was worth a shot. What are in these drawers? Okay, so we got some ink that I'm pretty sure we need to combine with this, and then we combine the inky cylinder with the paper. And we have our Morse code chart that we need to follow. Hopefully. I have my doubts about it. Alright, I've got the Morse code I'm supposed to enter. If I do this right, something will happen, I hope. Alright, let's give this a shot. Okay. Good. So, not much of a puzzle here. That's the last one, and yes. Excellent work, Junpei. Good job. You seem to have figured it out. You've unlocked the drawer. Oh, I actually had already forgotten that that's what we were trying to do. And cables on the desk. A red file lay in the drawer. Junpei reached down and picked it up. The cover read, Alice, all ice. All ice, Alice. That mean Junpei couldn't hold back. He had to know what was in that file. Each page was covered with strange characters. They looked like tiny drawings of birds, snakes, insects, horned animals, winged, and even kneeling humans. There were many pages in that file, and each was full of these strange symbols. What the hell is this? He didn't realize he'd spoken out loud until Ace looked over at him. They're hieroglyphs. Former writing used in ancient Egypt. Ancient Egypt? Metal Gear. That's right. Can you read them? Of course. I can't. What would make you think I could? What the hell? Junpei flipped through a few more pages. It wasn't just one or two pages that were covered in the strange symbols. Every single page was covered in them. Trying to read them was pointless. Junpei wasn't going to waste any more time with them. He made to close the file, and something fell out. He bent down and picked it up. A key card. There was a symbol on it that reminded Junpei of the symbol for the Saturn and Mercury key cards. This one, however, had a dot in the center of the male symbol. Uranus. That's the Uranus symbol. Junpei looked over to see Ace examining the card. In addition to the Uranus symbol, there were 3 words engraved on the card as well. On the lower right, it said Bottom Deck Library. Must be the key to the library on the bottom deck. So it would seem. The bottom deck. The library. Junpei remembered something he'd heard from Seven when they'd been in the chemical closet. Alice sleeps in a small chamber past the Forest of Knowledge, beneath the navel of the Gigantic. Did beneath the navel mean the bottom deck? Did Forest of Knowledge mean the library? If it did, then was Alice in a room somewhere beyond the library? What's wrong? Junpei blinked. Only then did he notice Ace was looking at him, curiosity and concern written across his face in equal parts. There was no reason for Junpei to hide his thoughts. He began to explain his theory to Ace. Then he stopped. It wouldn't make any sense if Ace didn't know who Alice was supposed to be. So he told Ace everything June had told him. About the Egyptian priestess. About Ice 9. And finally, about the woman who wouldn't melt who had been recovered from the Titanic disaster. He told him about how she had been called All Ice, which had eventually turned to Alice. Now she'd been purchased by an English millionaire who called himself Lord Gordain. And how Gordain had hid Alice somewhere on the ship. And you think he hid her in a small room beyond the library on the bottom deck? Yeah, well, I mean, I guess so. I see. He stared off into the distance, his hand slowly and absent-mindedly stroking his beard, wondering how he had been paired up with the biggest idiot known to mankind. After a few moments, his hand stopped. He turned slowly to look at Junpei, and his brows drew together. Junpei, have you ever heard of the term CAS? CAS? It stands for Cells Alive System. It's an advanced technology for freezing and preserving organic matter. Put simply, it's a technique that allows one to freeze things without the formation of ice crystals. Normally, if you freeze something fresh, water within its cells expands as it crystallizes, damaging the cell membrane. CAS, however, works differently. The object to be frozen is supercooled using magnetic fields, and then frozen instantly and uniformly, giving ice crystals no time to form. It was originally developed for the preservation of food, as an alternative to the normal freezing process. Now, however, there are rumors that it can be used for other things. What do you mean other things? Well, there are obvious medical uses, but perhaps also space travel. Space travel? Are you serious? Surely you've heard of suspended animation, cryogenic freezing. It's a fairly common idea in science fiction books and films. People are sometimes frozen for especially lengthy journeys through space. That was when Junpei understood what Ace was suggesting. Whoa, 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 wait a minute there. Ace looked at him and raised an eyebrow. Are you saying that Alice was frozen using that CAS thing? Well, I'm sure the possibility is quite low, but it is a possibility. If the special ice you call Ice 9 does indeed exist, and if Cass were used to freeze her into that sort of ice instantaneously, you think she could be alive? Well, I can't say for sure, of course. I'm only talking about possibilities. The melting point for Ice 9 is 96 degrees, right? If you were put somewhere where she could reach that temperature, that's nuts. Are you really saying she could have defrosted and started walking about? You're quite right, it does sound unbelievable. But if she had, then we would have an explanation for the man to be found dead on the floor. You mean the guy dressed like a captain? Yes. He was dead when we found him. Clearly, he was murdered. But if he was murdered, then by who? It couldn't have been one of us. That would be impossible. In order to enter the captain's quarters, one must first open door 1. That door that required the Earth key prevented us from accessing door 1. Who was it that opened that door? Santa and Lotus. Right. Clearly the two of them could not have opened door 1, or any other door for that matter. Who else, then, could have done so? Junpei thought for a second. No, nobody. After Santa and Lotus had used the Earth key, they turned back and met up with Junpei and June, who had just returned from E-Deck. The four of them then proceeded to the large hospital room to reunite with Ace, Seven, and Clover. When Junpei and his team had gone into the shower room, Ace, Seven, and Clover had been left in the large hospital room, but they would have been unable to open door 1. Perhaps when Junpei and June had taken the elevator to door 2 then? No, that would have been impossible. They had been gone only 5 minutes. No human being could have run to the captain's quarters, killed the man in there, and run back in 5 minutes. It would be impossible for any of us to be the murderer. That being the case, who could have killed him? Wouldn't it make sense if his killer was someone who had been in the ship for some time? A person like that would know the ship well. They would know the locations of all the hidden passages and secret doors. The numbered doors would mean nothing to someone like that. It would be a simple thing for them to enter the captain's quarters. And you're saying the killer was Alice? It was Junpei's turn to raise an eyebrow. Ace drew his thumb across his lips thoughtfully. Well, this is all only one possible theory. All ice. Alice. Was Alice indeed somewhere on the ship with them? Junpei had only one clue. The key card in his hand. It would, he hoped, grant him access to the Forest of Knowledge. But beyond that, what waited for him beyond the Forest of Knowledge. Whatever might be there, however, would have to wait. At the moment, there was nothing Junpei could do. He gripped the key card tighter and shoved it deep into his pocket. New material has been added to the file screen. And now we have this unique key. A key with a leather case. It isn't metal. I guess would be ceramic. Junpei, have you found a keyhole that might fit it? I don't remember? Actually, what the hell is this keyhole? Oh. Control panel for the electronic lock. Looks like it's got a keyhole in the bottom right. Maybe the key I got earlier. Sweet. I just had to put that key in, and now it's on. Junpei, look, there's a minus sign on the screen. There's 8 of them. Probably means we gotta put in 8 digits. Do you think you can figure it out? So, I don't remember this one, but I think this is the clue. I think this is 100% of the clue. So, let's just put all ones in real quick. Obviously that doesn't work. Don't have any idea what it might be. There's got to be a hint or clue in here somewhere. I mean, that's what all the other rooms have been like, you know? Let's look for it. A hint, huh? Oh, I think I know what it is. Those aren't letters. So, what we need to do is add each letter's position in the alphabet to 9 to get the character. Oh. We have 35, 26 plus 9. We have 14. 27 and 24. Yes, it worked. Good job, Junpei. Excellent, you seem to have unlocked it. Good work, Junpei. Alright, let's go. You found it. They stepped out of the captain's quarters and into another hallway. The hallway stretched out in front of Junpei for a bit before turning left, like a great backwards L. Junpei rounded the corner and took off down the straightway. He ran, and ran, and ran. At the end of the hallway was a door. He made straight for it. He was nearly halfway to it when he noticed a piece of paper in the middle of the floor. What was a piece of paper doing in the middle of the hallway? Junpei skidded to a halt. He dropped down to his hands and knees and quickly tore the paper off of the floor. Now that he had a chance to examine it more closely, it was clear that it was a map. More specifically, it was a map of the ship's interior for the A deck. Oh, I just did something really dumb. Thankfully, I was able to undo it real quick. What's wrong? Ace, slightly slower by virtue of his advanced age, had finally caught up to Junpei. Junpei said nothing, simply showed Ace what he had found. He looked at it long enough to determine what it was, and nodded. I see. With that, he began running again, past Junpei. Junpei shoved the map into his pocket and got up to follow Ace, but something stopped him. Hey, where's Clover? He turned around. Clover was nowhere to be seen. Damn it, what the hell is she up to? Junpei muttered angrily under his breath and took off back the way he'd come. As he stomped around the corner, he saw her. She was standing in front of the door to the captain's quarters, her hand on the doorknob. As Junpei watched, she closed it, gently and quietly. What the hell are you doing? Nothing. What do you mean, nothing? Clover had unconsciously put her hands over the pockets of her jacket, as if trying to hide something. What the hell is that? What? You've got something in your pocket. What is it? Oh, this. This is... I wonder. What the hell? Come on, we gotta hurry. With that, Clover ran, straight past a somewhat confused Junpei. As she did, he caught a glimpse of her back. Sticking up from her collar was something that looked like a big wooden stick. Hey Clover, what the hell's that thing on your back? She didn't respond. Instead, she quickly turned the corner and disappeared. With the goddamn axe. Junpei did his best to convince himself that it would make sense later, and ran off after Clover. I was sitting here thinking that I might have missed one of the damn checks. Junpei pushed through the door and found himself in a large room with a large set of stairs. It was just what he'd expected to see after reading the map. His "I see" after reading the map himself meant that Ace had probably realized the same thing. Junpei looked around, but Ace was nowhere to be seen. He put his hand on the handrail and leaned over to look down. There he was, and not just Ace, Santa, June, Seven, and Lotus as well. Junpei and Clover glanced at each other and hurried down the stairs. They reached the B deck at the same time. Jumpy, Clover. June's face was excited. Something had happened. That much Junpei could tell by simply looking at her. What's up? Given their situation, he was not inclined to be excited about sudden developments. June, however, couldn't contain herself. We found it. Found what? We found it. What did you find? The last door. We found door 9. What? Come on, just follow us. We'll explain on the way. Okay, let's go. Seven turned and jogged off down the stairs. The rest followed. We finally made it. The relief and excitement in her voice echoed what each one of them felt. Yeah, it's finally time. Junpei wasn't quite ready to believe they'd really done it, at least not just yet. Still, if everyone said that it was door 9, then it probably was. He could feel his heart racing. A mixture of anticipation and fear ran through his veins, and he could feel his legs shaking. He was doing his best to maintain a sense of healthy skepticism, but he couldn't deny that the prospect of escape was an exciting one. But there was one thing he couldn't get off his mind. The numbered door could only accommodate between 3 and 5 people. There were 7 of them on their way to door 9. That meant, even in the best case scenario, there would be 2 of them who would have to stay behind. 2 people. He didn't have any solution to that problem yet, but he was desperately hoping one would present itself. Junpei looked over at the clock. The hands indicated that it was 4:30. They had 90 minutes before their time was up. Hey, Junpei. June, what the hell are you two doing? Hurry it up. Santa's voice jolted Junpei out of his reverie. Let's go, Jumpy. June took off down the stairs, jogging as quickly as she could. Junpei followed. They were quiet for a while, until they hit the C deck. They had just reached C deck when Clover spoke. Hey, what about door 2? Everyone else stopped. They all turned to look at Clover. Seven spoke. What about door 2? Door 2 is the only one we haven't gone through it, I mean. Yes, that is true. You guys okay with that? Not investigating it, I mean? So what? We found door 9. We don't need any of the other doors. What's the point? What's the point in going to door 9? We can't all go through it, can we? Then we should do what we have to do before we go any further. It's like a jigsaw puzzle. The best way to finish it quickly is to do the border pieces first, you know? Or what? You think all 7 of us should go to door 9? And then we argue over who stays behind and who gets to go? Do we really want to do that again? Who knows? If we check out door 2, maybe we'll find something. Maybe we can find a way to get all of us out. I don't know what might be in there. We might not find anything. But don't you think it'd be better to at least have a look? I mean, am I wrong? Does that sound wrong to you guys? Yeah, you do have a point. And I know I brought this up before. I really surprisingly like having the different audible notes for when people are speaking, even when it's just dots. The other's not in agreement. Last time I checked the clock, it was 4:30. It's not like we've got a lot of time, but if we were quick about it, we might have time to take a look. You're right. Let's go take a look at door 2. They were back in front of the elevator. Nearby was the large hospital room. The elevator could take them down to door 2. After a few minutes of discussion, they decided that Clover, Santa, June, and Seven would go. 4 plus 3 plus 6 plus 7 equals 20. Alright, let's get going. I'll see you later. Okay, be careful. They climbed into the elevator, and Junpei listened to it creak and rattle its way to the bottom deck. Only Junpei, Ace, and Lotus were left. As the elevator rumbled out of sight, Ace spoke. Lotus, would you be so kind as to go with me? Go with you? I didn't think people still talked that way outside of the 1950s. Well, I'm a mother. Would that be a problem for you? That wasn't what I meant to. I was hoping you would come with me. Seriously though, I was kidding. So, where was it you wanted to take me? There's something I wanted to show you. Hey man, what the hell? I'm not important enough? Well, it's not like that. Once I've shown Lotus, I'll show you. Really? Of course. Ace's smile was friendly. Fine. Do whatever you want. Thank you. Are you coming, Lotus? Fine. Doesn't look like they're going to be back anytime soon. So, what could be up with this? I mean, I know what's going on here. But I'm slowing down for a second to let my brain kind of catch up, really, if I'm being honest. Might as well go see whatever it is you think is so important. Thank you. Well then, shall we go? Ace turned and began to walk. Lotus followed. They disappeared in the hallway on the left. Junpei wasn't sure how long they'd been gone when the elevator suddenly opened. A single person stood there. Clover. She looked at Junpei, then slowly, purposefully stepped out of the elevator. The door closed behind her. Where's everybody else? What happened? She didn't answer. Instead, her eyes swept the room and then settled on Junpei. Where are Ace and Lotus? Junpei explained what had happened. Oh. And they went over there? Her voice was small and timid. Yeah, I think so. He repeated his earlier question. So where are June, Santa, and Seven? Why aren't they with you? You really want to know? There was something wrong with her smile. Yeah. Okay, sure. Here, let me show you. Okay, so I did fuck up at some point in time. Clover pulled something out of her pocket and tossed it onto the floor at Junpei's feet. He looked down. On the floor in front of him were 3 metal rings. Bracelets. Oh my god. Oh, holy shit. Junpei collapsed. No way. There's gotta be some kind of joke. This can't be real. Junpei's body felt like rubber. His heart felt like a cold lump in his chest, and his hands shook uncontrollably. Controllably. Sweat poured down his face. 3 bracelets sat there on the floor, before him. He could see the numbers on their faces. 3, 7, and 6. Lastly, let us discuss how to remove the bracelets. There are only 2 ways to do so. 1, you escape from the ship. 2, your heart rate reaches 0. In other words, once the bracelet is taken outside the confines of the ship or detects that its wearer's heartbeat has fallen to 0, it will shut down automatically. But why? Junpei's voice was flat and broken. Clover's response was cold. Revenge for my brother. He was forced into door 3 and murdered. You need at least 3 people to open a door. Who were the 2 that opened the door with him? It could only have been Santa and Seven. That's why I killed them. But why? Why did you kill June? Because she tried to protect them. She was in my way. She had to die too. No. Junpei shook his head, trying desperately to wake himself from what had to be a dream. It couldn't be real. Just couldn't. Hey, Junpei. He felt Clover's hand on his shoulder. Her smile was wrong. Horribly wrong. Her face looked like a mask made from stretched human skin. The smile that parted her lips did not extend to her eyes. They were dead and empty. The girl in front of him was no longer the Clover that he had known. Perhaps she was not even human. Let's go. Her hand reached out toward him. Let's get out of here. Let's leave the ship. Well, what the hell are you talking about? To open a numbered door? Yes, I know. You need at least 3 people. But as long as we have this... Once again, Clover reached into her pocket and pulled something out. It was another bracelet. Junpei could see the number on the face. 0. You've got something in your pocket. What is it? Oh, this? This is... See? You get it now? If we have the 0 bracelet, we can leave. You and I can open door 9 with just the 2 of us. See? So let's go. Come on, hurry up. She shoved out her hand again. Junpei looked at Clover. She had the face of a demon, but there was something else. There was a holy light that surrounded her. She was both a fierce god and a benevolent goddess filled with love. Junpei? Her voice was soft. Her eyes weren't empty anymore. They were deep. So deep, Junpei could feel himself falling into them. He felt dizzy. There was something oddly bewitching about her. At which point in time, the game about murder makes me feel uncomfortable. His mind was beginning to crack, and his heart began to melt. Junpei? The hand she was offering to him. It looked so soft, so inviting. Junpei reached out with his own trembling hand and closed it over hers. Urgh. Gah. Yep. Got the X ending. Junpei writhed in agony. He shuddered and twitched, his body spasming as he went into shock. He screamed until his throat was torn and bloody, and screamed more. His cries echoed across the room. Eventually his movement slowed and faded. There was no more strength left in Junpei. He could feel his body begin to go numb. He no longer felt pain, he no longer felt anything. Whatever Junpei had been was gone. Last remnants of his mind began to fade. Even as his vision faded to nothingness, he saw Clover. Thanks, Junpei. I'm just gonna borrow this, okay? Her smile was cold. What was left of Junpei's conscious mind drifted away. All that was left was a twisted, broken corpse. So, I'd meant to get the, a different ending. But I think I fucked up. Game has multiple endings. In order to experience all the endings, you need to save now. Once you've saved, you can restart the game with information you've acquired in this playthrough saved. You can skip through text you've already seen. Unfortunately, you still have to do puzzles. So, yeah, that was a fuck up on my part. I think I know which one I screwed up at. But it will still take a while to get everything back to that point. Especially since I don't remember everything about these. Okay. Oh, 0263. Oops. Well, we don't actually have the red key card. I don't remember where that is. Oh, yeah, I do. And so I will try to get through this as quickly as possible. Seven, 4, 8, 5, I think. And now I don't remember the thing for this. Okay. And since we have already seen this, I'm not only going to be using the skip function, I'm going to have it be going at double speed. Which actually seems to be working better than I had thought it would. We are introduced to everybody here. Still. I wish there was, you know, an even faster option for skipping. I will actually show off different text when I am provided the option to do so. So, let's go with Snake and 7. Snake 7, do you think you could give me a hand here? Pun was a little too on the nose, but the mood was still grim. Snake and 7 lifted their left hands silently. Slowly, each of them placed their hand on the scanner panel. It fulfilled the conditions. If they were to pull the lever on the side. You guys ready? I'm gonna open it. Junpei grabbed the lever and looked back over his shoulder. They stiffened and nodded. Junpei nodded back and set his mouth in a grim line. Then he slowly lowered the lever. And this is stuff we've seen before. So we are back to repeat. And again, this is running double speed. Well, I'll just input a incorrect answer. We still want to go through door 4. Just because I fucked up doesn't mean we don't want to go through door 4 now. And I think where I had... You know, actually I don't really know where I fucked up. Is the issue. Okay, so that's how we get the map. Oh, yeah, this is a new line. The actual Titanic. The actual Titanic? You mean it, like, slipped through time and ended up here? Before the ship sunk on April 4th, 1912? Oh. What the hell are you smoking? Did I get it wrong? Junpei grinned and shook his head. No, that's not. Come on, slip through time? Seriously? I was talking about the controversy surrounding the Titanic. As far as what went wrong, I think that I forgot to give Clover the 4-leaf clover. Because I was trying to show off the cliffhanger ending. So I could at least temporarily talk about why that was the major thing that, actually got me to finish this game. Yeah, I was pretty sure I did all of the, things, because I got the 4-leaf clover bookmark. I did the talking with Junpei about it, or with June about it, and I'm pretty sure I talked to Seven about it, but I suspect I did not give the bookmark to Clover, or I may have screwed up earlier, and, not gotten the bookmark entirely. I was pretty sure I took it, though. Okay. Yeah, we took it. actually have all of those yet. Still need to do... Oh, yeah. And that gives the necessary plates. That is a really odd noise when you're holding the skip text button. Okay. Wait a second. Okay, yeah. I think we actually need to do these dumb... Since I figure it's probably faster just to skip through text we have seen. I don't remember what all we actually need to do here. We need oil. Was that in... this room? Doesn't look it. Oh, did I screw up here? No, I think that is the correct one again. No, it's not blind. It, what I was trying to do was do the cliffhanger ending. But I apparently screwed up somewhere along the way, so I'm doing a quick replay to try to get back there. And of course I don't remember actually way too many of the puzzles. I think this was... oh, actually it might have been... is that not... huh. Okay, so... I don't remember where the, whetstone is. Oh. Yeah, I hadn't, gone into it. I don't think this part matters. So. Although there is the distinct possibility that this is where something got screwed up, so let's go to a normal save. And in the operating room, we need to do 2 things total. I was thinking that we cut that out with the lung, or with the scalpel. I guess. Oh, and then we combine that with the scalpel. And since I know that the relevant things are here, can't actually do that one yet. So that is... I don't actually remember what ammonia and ethanol are. Four and... seven. Oh wait, did I? I may have messed that up by not adding correctly. Oh, yeah, it's because I stopped adding before the OH part of... This is what it is, right? Yeah, this is looking like I had the right answers, unless I just forgot to... give the bookmark to Clover. whatever reason, I was thinking they could all be open at the same time. Doesn't actually matter, but... I think it's just everything? Oh, everything but the heart. How do we... I think I'm seeing why we didn't... Unless this... Okay. Ah, that's where I fucked up. I mean, not surprising given that the first three had the correct answers, but... Okay, and this gives us more exposition. Which is always good in this... I say good, but I'm not real sure it's that good in this game. Well, it would have helped if I had remembered to unmute my mic after coughing there. Not sure how long I was silent, but... And okay, now I'm at the point where this would actually work. Should be, I guess I should say. So, let's just repeat our actions. And once we actually get into the post-captain's area, this should work. This one's still an annoying puzzle, even if we... So this time we do have new dialogue here. So this time Ace is correct in being suspicious. Okay. And this one goes through the list of potential multi-team that could have killed Snake. It is interesting to me that there's this long of a period of time where Ace is apparently just fucking off doing nothing of value. Do, however, need to get something to drink. I mean, I'd gotten it when I commented on doing that earlier, I just hadn't actually put it on my desk. Interestingly, these are the same lines we saw earlier, but this time, we're not allowed to skip them. I guess they are not registered as the same lines internally. Now I need to figure out what all we need to, actually do for this too. Okay, so... No, I don't actually remember. That's not what I want to do. There we go. And I actually do remember this one, because it's just a repeating pattern followed by a stop. And then I need to look at it while holding the pocket watch, I think. And then we can open the pocket watch door. I just need to actually not go as far away from the pocket watch door as we can get. Oh, I think it's just grab the music box, and then... Can we leave now? Okay, so, no. Yeah, it's like a comic book. Yeah, he just didn't explode, unlike the rest of them. Oh, Snake has apparently a fake arm or hand or something. Sorry about that. And so first time I played through this game, I got, well actually I'd gotten to before here, And I was sitting here going, there is a lot of exposition on seemingly pointless crap. How are they going to wrap it all up into something that makes sense? And this is where they really start doing it. It also works pretty well about at piquing your interest just enough to kind of keep you going with the story. So part of that is just so it doesn't drop everything on you all at once, I'm pretty sure. Oop. I'd forgotten how unresponsive that was. And here we're seeing more stuff again about All Ice and Alice. Thankfully, as this has shown, getting back here didn't take quite as long as I expected it to. I was worried it would take a fair amount of time, and it really hasn't. I don't remember. It's... I can figure out the Z and E almost instantly. It's just the, for R and O I have to do ABC up to R. Okay, so... we will eventually see that note, maybe. Yeah, as we saw before, she probably still has the bracelet. Though maybe not the axe, since it was not brought up this time. Oh, and I was reading these out loud before. I'll get back to that. It was just what he'd expect to see after reading the map. Oh, actually, I don't need to. They reached the B deck at the same time. Jumpy, Clover. June's face was excited something had happened. That much Junpei could tell by simply looking at her. What's up? Given their situation, he was not inclined to be excited about sudden developments. June, however, couldn't contain herself. We found it. Found what? We found it. What did you find? The last door. Found door 9. What? Come on, just follow us. We'll explain on the way. Okay, let's go. 7 turned and jogged off down the stairs, and the rest followed. We finally made it. Relief and excitement in her voice echoed what each one of them felt. Yeah, it's finally time. Junpei wasn't quite ready to believe they'd really done it, at least not yet. Well, if everyone said it was door 9, it probably was. He could feel his heart racing. A mixture of anticipation and fear ran through his veins. He could feel his legs shaking. He was doing his best to maintain a sense of healthy skepticism, but he couldn't deny the prospect of escape was... I actually didn't read that. An exciting one. There's one thing he couldn't get off his mind. The numbered door could only accommodate between 3 and 5 people. There were 7 of them on the way to door 9. That meant, best case scenario, 2 of them would stay behind. 2 people. And I think this is actually the same line we had in the axe ending. I think this is actually the exact same set of lines. So I'm really not, well, maybe some of this was different in, well, I shouldn't say was different in Japanese, it was more different in Japanese. Or it could have just been incorrectly tagged. As a group, they piled onto the elevator, rode impatiently down to E-deck. Familiar, the metal grate between 2 elevators. 7 grabbed hold of it and began to talk. I know I told you I'd explained it earlier, but honestly there ain't much to explain. After we split off from you guys, 4 of us got onto the elevator on the left. That took us to the other side of the grate. After that, it headed down another hallway, took them toward the bow of the ship, eventually to the number 6 that Junpei and June had found earlier. With 4, they'd been able to open the door and keep going. As usual, they faced a locked door, but had been forced to complete 2 different areas before they could unlock it. Once they were through that door, there was another hallway that went in the other direction, towards the stern. So on your way, you found the elevator. That's right. So in other words, you kinda did a lap, huh? You came from that side to this side. Yeah. That settled, Junpei looked around. So where's the number 9 door? Over here. Follow me. 7 began walking down the hallway that led towards the stern. Junpei and the others broke into a jog to keep up with them. They'd been walking for a while. June in silent step with Junpei when she spoke. You know, it's because of Santa that we're all here right now. Huh? That all 7 of us are going to door 9. You don't get it? Santa, 7, and Lotus. What's their digital route? 9. It's 9. That's right. They could have just left me behind and kept going if they'd wanted to. But they didn't. Yes, because Santa wouldn't let them. He said, we can't leave June behind. That's why we went looking for you guys. And he got on the elevator and went back to the central staircase. That's right. Well, I wouldn't have called that one. But Santa would be the one to stick up for you. I mean, Junpei felt his eyebrows knit as he considered that. Oh, don't get me wrong. Perhaps June had sensed Junpei's concern. Not mean that 7 and Lotus said they wanted to leave me behind. We were just talking about it and Santa objected to it first. Junpei was about to respond when 7 suddenly stopped. In front of them stood a door. So is this... Junpei couldn't see Seven's face, but he could see him nod. There's no other place for us to go? Nope. Look around. At the end of the hallway was a thick iron wall. To the left and right, other hallways led to the port and starboard sides of the ship. But they were both closed off by thick metal grates. It looked as though Seven was right. The door in front of them was their only choice. Alright, let's get moving. Pulled open the door and walked in. Junpei took a deep breath and followed. It appeared they'd been telling the truth. The first thing Junpei saw as he entered the room was the number, 9. Like all the others, it was a rough thing, made of red paint. The door it decorated sat on the back wall of a rectangular room. Junpei ran up to it. It was a large double door with powerful styling. Something about it was almost majestic. Made the red paint look especially garish. Junpei grabbed the handle and shook. Didn't budge, but then he hadn't really expected it to. Red was bolted to the wall next to the door. Its display read vacant. As expected. Finally, they'd arrived. Junpei felt a flood of emotion wash over him. He felt a chill down his back, and his chest tightened even as his blood began to boil. He was about to speak when, Junpei, look behind you. He turned around. Junpei could scarcely believe what he saw. A door and a 9. There was another one. Hey, what the hell? What the hell is going on here? His words came slowly and his brain struggled to understand what he'd seen. On shaky legs, he made his way to the second 9. It was a small door, set parallel to the door they'd come through, in the other corner of the room. 9. There was no mistaking the number, and if any more proof was needed, a red was bolted to the wall near the door. He grabbed the handle and shook the door. Not because he expected it to open, but because he had to make sure it was real. Why the hell are there 2 doors? It was Ace who spoke first. Do you think perhaps one is the right door and the other is the wrong door? Lotus was skeptical. I don't know about that. That seems unlikely. What makes you say so? Well, think about all the rooms we've been through so far. They're full of puzzles, but there are always hints about how to solve them. Pretty sure there aren't any rooms where we just had to go with our best guess and leave it to instinct to solve the puzzle. You really think at the very end of the game, Zero is going to suddenly throw in something that depends entirely on luck? And you're saying there's some sort of hint in this room? No, I don't think there's a hint anywhere in here. I searched very well when I was in here before. Didn't find anything that might have been a hint, though. Well then, that means... Yeah, both of these are the right door. And if you think about it, Zero never actually said there was only one door with a 9 on it. The exit is hidden, but it is there. Seek the exit. Seek the door that carries a 9. Actually, that would lead me to believe that it's the smaller of the 2 that is the actual correct door. Junpei began to mutter to himself. So if there are 2 number 9 doors, we split it up, right? Not gonna work. Junpei blinked and looked up at Clover. She held out her hand. You've got a notebook and a pen, right? Can I borrow them? Slightly confused, he pulled them out and handed them to her. Look at this. Clover opened the notebook to a blank page and set it down on a desk. Everyone else gathered around her and watched as she wrote down a series of numbers. And because they don't have everyone, they're going to be too short. You get it? The numbers on the top are all the combinations with digital roots of 9. The numbers on the bottom are the people who don't fit. There's only 8 possibilities if we split up into 2 groups of 3 or 4 people, so 3 people go through the door, then 4 are left behind. If 4 go through, then 3 are left behind, right? Clover nodded almost as if she were pleased with herself for solving a difficult math problem. The room went very quiet. Silence lay across everyone like a thick, heavy blanket. No one spoke. Their faces were blank, desperate for something else to look at. Junpei turned his eyes to the room around him. As he did, he began to wonder, what was it? Walls were covered with candles. The wavering flame made the shadows of Junpei and his companions look as though they were dancing. 2 rows of wooden pews filled most of the room. Between them was a strip of rich red carpet. Carpet ran straight through the room, ending at the door that pointed to the stern of the boat. At the under end of the carpet, an altar? There was a recessed space set into the wall between the two other doors. Sitting on a raised section of the altar was a coffin. A coffin? Coffin. No, it couldn't possibly be. But if it wasn't, then whose body occupied it? That was as far as Junpei wanted to pursue that line of thought. Decided not to think about the coffin for the time being. That moment, Seven spoke. There was an edge of humor to his voice, but it was forced. Okay, I give up. I give up. I figured if we sat around here long enough, someone would volunteer, but guess nobody's got the guts to do it. Junpei didn't understand, and he wasn't the only one. What? You guys didn't figure it out yet? Fine. Let me enlighten you. Clover was mostly right with her little explanation earlier, but she missed something. She wasn't really wrong, she just... screw it. Let me just write it out. Seven snatched up the notebook and began to write in it. Everyone else clustered around him, desperate for a look. You're trying to leave with a group of 3 and a group of 4 and get everybody out. Clover's right. But there's another way. Only one combination, though. You split us up into groups of 3, 3, and 1. You can make this combination. Wait. This means... Don't get me wrong here. I'm not trying to copy Ace or anything like that. Even if he hadn't been the hero back in the big hospital room, I'd still be saying the same thing. The same thing? Are you saying... Yeah, I am. I'll stay behind. Why are you acting so heroic all of a sudden? Are you some kind of idiot? Lotus was the first to speak. That in itself was a little strange. Not really. She'd reacted much differently when Ace had volunteered. I'm completely against this. I'll be goddamned if I'm going to have to owe you for getting out of here. The rest of them began to speak all at once. I'm against it too. I didn't want to leave Ace behind, and I don't want to leave you either. I don't like that idea. There's gotta be other options. I disagree as well. I can't say I care much for you being the hero. Finally, they quieted down. Junpei looked at Seven. Well, there you go, Seven. Proposal denied. Clover's right. There's gotta be a better way than this. Seven made some noise that was somewhere between a derisive snort and a cough. Doesn't make any sense. He was doing his best to pretend they were making a foolish decision, but Junpei could see the twinkling of water at the corner of Seven's eyes. That was when Santa spoke. Whoa, hold on a minute. I haven't said anything yet. Until then, Junpei hadn't realized that Santa had stayed quiet for the whole discussion of Seven's fate. Something in his voice made Junpei uncomfortable. Are you agreeing? You want to leave him here? Santa shook his head. Nah, I'm against it. I don't want to leave Seven here alone. Then I don't see how it matters. I said, alone. I said, I don't want to leave Seven alone. There was a dull shine in Santa's eyes. They were cold and hard. Junpei felt himself shiver. What the hell are you... What, you don't get it? I can't leave just one person. I need 2 more. 3 people, including Seven. I'll be leaving behind 3 people. That's my proposal. No. Those are my orders. What do you mean orders? What the hell makes you think you can order us around? Who the hell's gonna listen to you? You all will. In 3 seconds, you won't have a choice. What? 3, 2, 1... Santa was so fast, Junpei could barely see him. When he moved, it was almost like watching a dance, his feet moving like lightning. He spun, and... he had June. See? I told you. His lips curled into a cruel, mocking smile. A shudder traveled the length of Junpei's spine. His chest froze, and he could feel his breath go stale in his lungs. Nothing made sense. Junpei felt as though his head were about to explode. Santa's sudden change in attitude, saying that he needed 2 more. The gun in his right hand, a revolver. Santa grabbed June from behind and pressed what Junpei's shaken brain identified as a revolver roughly against her temple. What was he doing with a gun? Where on earth had Santa possibly found a gun? Junpei's questions roared in his mind, but his mouth refused to ask them. Seven spoke almost as though he had sensed Junpei's confusion. The gun's from the other room. What room? One of the rooms behind door 6. Should have known he was gonna do this. I should have taken the gun. Too late now, fat ass. Damn it. A mixture of fury and frustration twisted Seven's face and he glared at Santa. Santa, for his part, didn't do so much as flinch. The corner of his lip twitched into a slightly wider smile. and the smile faded, and he began to move. He walked backward, dragging June with him. Before long, his back was resting against the door. On the wall next to him was the red. He put his hand on and forced June to do the same. Now, time for you to start following my orders. Ace, Lotus, congratulations. I've chosen you to come with me. Put your hands on the red. That was what Santa had meant when he had said he needed 2 more. You deaf? I gave you an order. Santa's eyes narrowed to slits. He glared at Ace and Lotus. They stayed frozen, like deer caught in the headlights of an oncoming car. Right, fine. I didn't want to waste any bullets, but you guys just don't get it. No sooner were the words out of Santa's mouth than his hand twitched, and the gun roared. A section of the floor exploded, scattering wooden splinters across the floor. A thin plume of smoke snaked out the hole in the floor. There'd be no doubt that the gun was real and worked. But why? Santa, why are you... Clover's voice spoke of betrayal and disbelief. Santa, I thought you were one of us. I thought we were friends. What? You knew about the leaf word and the 4-leaf clover. Santa's cheek twitched, almost imperceptibly. What the hell is that shit? I've got no idea. You're lying. Shut up. Just shut up, you stupid bitch. You want me to put a bullet in your fucking head? Flecks of spit flew from Santa's mouth, his face twisted with rage. Clover recoiled, her eyes wide. When she spoke, her voice was very small. Santa. He snorted, then shook his head vigorously and turned to face Ace and Lotus. Alright, assholes. What are you still standing there for? Get over here and scan those bracelets. I don't have all day. Oh, what's the matter? Your hearing starting to go? Going senile, maybe? Ace and Lotus still didn't move. It almost seemed as if they couldn't move. June's face was pale behind Santa's arm. Her eyes were wild, and her chest heaved with every quick breath, like an animal cornered by a predator. Junpei's mind worked furiously. What were they going to do? Then he realized something. There was nothing they needed to do. There was nothing to debate. June's safety was the first priority. That much was obvious. Doing as Santa had commanded meant that she would be safe from at least 2 threats. She wouldn't be shot, and she would leave the ship alive, along with Santa, Ace, and Lotus. There was only one thing for Junpei to do. He turned to Ace and Lotus. Please, go. Huh? But... Jumpy? What are you saying? If you stay here, you're gonna be stuck, Jumpy. And so will Clover and Seven. I know. But you don't need to worry about us. We'll figure something out. Right, Seven? Right. You just leave it to us. It's gonna piss me off to do what Santa says, but... don't worry about me either. There's still something I have to take care of. But... no, you can't. Ace, Lotus, don't do it. Don't worry about me, please. June was almost crying. Junpei walked around behind Ace and Lotus. Without a word, he laid a hand on each of their backs and gently pushed them forward. They almost stumbled and righted themselves and took another step, and another. They turned around, and Junpei nodded. Ace and Lotus turned around again and walked slowly toward the door where Santa was waiting for them. After what seemed like an eternity, they stopped in front of the door marked 9. Santa smiled. Alright, now let's get those hands on the scanner panel. I was actually thinking that it was the corner door that he was doing this for. What's the holdup? What, you think I'm fucking around here? I don't give a shit about this girl. Red doesn't need a person, you know? All I need is the bracelet. You get it? Good. Now put your fucking hands on the scanner. I'm not gonna say it again. He shoved the revolver harder against June's head, and she winced. Fine. He sighed, defeated, and placed his hand on the scanner panel. Lotus went next. Lotus glared at Santa and slammed her hand onto the scanner panel. 4th asterisk blinked on. Good job. Now Lotus, pull that lever. As soon as the door opens, you get your ass in there. Try anything stupid and you know what happens, right? Junpei could almost hear Lotus's teeth grind. The door slid open. Door number 9 opened at last. It opened with a low, powerful rumble, a drum roll to welcome the chosen few. Alright, go. Lotus and Ace walked through their doors, their eyes furious but defeated. Santa waited until they were all the way inside, then hauled himself and June across the threshold as well. 6, 7, 8. Later. After exactly 9 seconds, the door swung shut. The gust of air it created caused the candles on the altar to flicker and die. The room fell silent. Junpei, Clover, and Seven had been left behind. Clover looked down at her hand and traced with her finger the faint blue veins that crisscrossed them. Seven shoved his arms into the front of his overalls and scratched his stomach. No one spoke. Silence made the air feel thick and oppressive. Desperate for something, anything to occupy his mind, Junpei walked to the larger of the two 9 doors. He stood in front of it and looked at the red. The red engaged. He moved to the smaller door. The red read vacant. The digital root of the remaining people was 7. There was no possible way for them to open a door with 9 on it. Junpei touched the surface of the door. He thought about June, about Akane Kirishiki. Was she safe? That was all that mattered to him. If she was alive, if she had escaped this horrible boat, that was what Junpei prayed for. 7 came up next to him, pulled off his hat, scratched his head, and sighed. So, what do you want to do, Junpei? What do you mean, what do I want to do? What can we do? 7 opened his mouth to respond, when a noise echoed through the room. Someone was pounding on something, vigorously. It wasn't mechanical, it was certainly human. Junpei and 7 looked at one another. What the hell is that? Shh. Quiet. Clover motioned to 7 to be quiet. She put one finger to her lips and closed her eyes in concentration. Three of them listened, trying to determine where the sound was coming from. Where was it coming from? Could it be... Hey, I think it's coming from this coffin. You're right, let's open it. But how? What are those muscles for? For show? Telling me to force it open? Just shut up and try. Junpei and 7 grabbed hold of the coffin. They tried to get a good grip with what little purchase they could find, and pulled with all their strength. Damn it. Man, it won't even budge. There was some sort of keypad attached to the coffin. Its purpose would not have been difficult to determine. Their eyes were almost immediately drawn to it. Not another one. Yeah, looks like it. You think we have to put in the right password or it won't open? I think so. The noise wasn't stopping. In fact, it was getting louder. They had no idea who was in the coffin, but they wanted out, and they wanted out now. They had no idea what they were supposed to do. Without a passcode, it didn't seem like there was a lot they could do. Couldn't even tell how many numbers the passcode needed to be. Isn't there a hint somewhere? Well, let's look for one. Unfortunately, there didn't seem to be anything near the coffin. Clover ran to examine the pews, and 7 investigated the desk, but they turned up nothing. The sound still wouldn't stop. It wasn't a noise that belonged in that room. What was the passcode? What was Junpei supposed to do? How was he supposed to figure it out? He needed something. And basically, I love that cliffhanger even though it's dumb as hell. And when I played through the game blind, shortly after it was released, that was the first ending I got. And I know a lot of people are not huge fans of it because of the fact that it just kind of leaves you without a whole bunch of answers. But I think that if I hadn't gotten that one blind, I would not have really continued the game to its conclusion. Because the 999 is kind of a character-driven story, and that works if you like the characters. But we don't really spend enough time with the characters to, in my opinion, really care about them. We get kind of basic ideas of their personality. But for the most part, you're getting kind of hints, and it's inconsistent. Case in point being Santa there. So especially in cases like this, and even with cases like Junpei. Well, I don't really care about Junpei just because I'm controlling him. But this cliffhanger worked because I was curious about what the progression of the story was. As far as the not controlling characters hurting games, or controlling characters and not caring about them hurting games, I'm pretty sure that's one of the reasons why I don't care as much for things like Suikoden 2 or Final Fantasy 9. Because like with Suikoden 2, I don't give the slightest of shits about Joey or Nanami at any point in time throughout the story. And a lot of the story notes really kind of require you to care about at least one of them, or they fall super flat. Final Fantasy IX was a bad one for me because it was okay. For a fair amount of the game, your characters are Monkey Boy, Garnet, and Steiner, and I didn't give, again, the slightest of shits about any of those. This, though, I think works because it is the story that is interesting. A lot of the story elements are complete and total crap. But a lot of the story is actually... I don't really want to say interesting, but I'm curious about the progression, and they chose a good actual dropping point for that to be continued. Much more than that, and it would be okay. I think I see how this would progress once you're past it. But next time, I will be pushing towards the safe ending. Because I think that's it for me. That will be next Friday. So, thank you for watching. And, yeah, like the thing says, I'll be back with the same set of games next week.